Hello again. This is somewhat of a review on the Peterson G4 pick set. As you can see, there's two cases. I have added two over the years, and it has turned into basically two different pick sets. The original case is this one. When I bought it in 2006, it's like a smoother leather. It's a trifold case, and this I bought separate so I can build kind of more of a complete kit of things that I use more often. Let's go ahead and open this guy up. Inside you'll see mostly the Adams Rite tools, which not very common to use that very often for me. It's just being a hobby picker. A few other things were the Bend It tension wrenches. Came with this kind of neat little tool, and you can customize your own tension wrenches. They gave you these sticks of spring steel. This is not government steel. This is government steel. And the whole government steel, I don't know what actual nomenclature of steel it is, but I will say that it is pretty high quality. I learned that when I refinished some of the picks in the kit, because it took quite a bit of sanding to get them the way I wanted them. A couple other things in here that came with the original G4 kit was the wafer breaker for the American lock to be used alongside with the bypass tool. There was some shim stock to make your own padlock shims, but honestly, like a soda can, thin aluminum works better. That pretty much sums it up for the overflow. There was a couple of the Peterson knives. These are like the thicker knives. But on to most of the other things that came in the kit. So this has been added to over the years, just keep that in mind. The G4 is still available. I think it's pretty much the same as it was back then, to my knowledge. If you're just looking at this, most everything with the plastic handles like these were added later, so this wasn't part of the original G4 kit. All the picks, like with the rubber handles, were. So this is like the government steel. And I've sanded this down quite a bit. And that's when I learned that this steel is actually pretty hard. So it's kind of like a stainless hard steel. I don't know the actual number of the steel, but definitely good stuff. That almost looks like a fall-safe finger pick. Couple things that came with this kit that I really like. Obviously the mini knife, which I think most of you have seen this trick. You have a lock like this, and this is just a cheapie. I forget the actual model number of who makes this. This is like a knockoff even. I don't even know the combination to this lock. I just like using it as a demonstration of how to bypass. And you just take your slender knife, or your mini knife they call it, and it's almost too thin to me because you can easily bend this tool. The way the lock normally operates, you put in the combination and then you press down on the shackle to release the spring. The lever will pop up and the lock will come open. So to bypass it, usually you stick this knife in on the middle two wheels and then push it as far as it goes. Then you release like the tension on the lever, press it in, and then push this down just a little bit. Let's see. Oh, there it goes. Pretty slick. I've actually made my own. This is a little bit thicker steel that I just cut out. It's a little more easier to use. It's locked again. Try this. Okay, so you can even see if I'm pushing down on it, it doesn't move very much, but if I release the spring tension by pushing on the shackle, it's too far back. There we go. And then that comes open. Pretty fun to demonstrate that. A couple other things that I liked about this kit. The serrated tension tools. What's funny, I don't know if I got kind of skimped on this because some of these are government steel. Some of these were just cheap, like spring steel. As you can see, they're even kind of rusty. because leather draws moisture. So don't store rustable metal tools in a leather case. Keep them in a dry area because leather will draw moisture, humidity, and if the tool sits too long, it'll get like a light film of rust. I might have added these later. Honestly, I don't remember, but these are like the government steel serrated picks. These do work really well. A couple rakes that they included. I bought these separate. Oh, this is real nice. The Slender Gems, I want to say it's called. And it was kind of a group of a few different tools that were very useful, very thin steel. Pretty common pick profiles. If you're building a kit, I think you can just buy this kit separate. It was either 4 or 5 different tools that came with their Slender Gem lineup. And good feedback, good quality steel, and will fit in a lot of different keyways. So I highly recommend that as just a standalone set. You don't have to buy the whole G4. It's kind of pricey anyway. I think there's a lot better kits out there for the money. But again, I was really into the hobby back then, and it was fun. I still got the kit, so I think it's kind of paid for itself at this point. Let's see. This was just an L rake. So this was one that I would have added later. It's just got the plastic handle. That's just spring steel. Whereas this one, the rubber handle was the government steel. It's kind of pointless, I guess. I think I bought a whole bunch of different tools at once, and as you can see, it's just a double, so there's no real reason to have 2 of these in here. One really good pick is what's called the Deforest. If you don't, I'm sure you know what that is, but it's kind of like a hook and a diamond combined into one pick. Very useful. Highly recommended. The flat tension wrenches, I think, are pretty much commonplace in today's world. Peterson at this time were about the only ones that were selling these. Most of the other ones were like the typical L type, that the way the bends, I guess, and the tensioners, I don't know how to explain that, but the flat tension tools, I think, are a lot superior. Plus, these are serrated. If you can see that. Some of them. And there's all kinds of different sizes, widths, and they even come out with a few different thicknesses. They had the pry bar. I think I have a couple pry bars in here. Yeah, I actually have both sizes of pry bars. I think they even have more than that now. Pry bars are pretty good on lots of different locks. So I think this was one of my added to tools. The Sfic tension tools. So if you're picking like best locks or small form interchangeable core type locks to put tension on the inner core of the lock. Still hard to pick. I have picked a few best locks, a few Sfic locks. Really challenging, but it's a really good tool for that. Let's see. Most of the other ones are just pretty common. You got your hooks, you got your rakes. No special rakes that really Peterson offers that most other manufacturers don't these days. The handle material, there's a couple different ones. There's like a plasti dip. You got rubber, and then just kind of a hard plastic. What's funny is over the years, I think they must have changed some of their manufacturing techniques, because I think they have different colors now, but at the time, the picture did not match the color of these tools, so I thought that was kind of funny. It didn't bother me, though. These are kind of weird. These are kind of like a snake rake. 2 different ones. They still offer most all of these from my knowledge, and more. You can just keep adding to. Peterson makes pretty good stuff. Little pricey. In the grand scheme of things, though, if you're into lock picking, you're going to hold on to the tools for a long time. They're going to last you a long time if you treat them right. And it's kind of fun to play with different ones. Plus, if you don't use them, you can always sell them to someone else and still recoup most of your money. Would I jump into this set initially? Probably not. You know, it's always good to start cheap. You know, the kind of the rule of thumb is start really cheap, and if you break a tool, that's when you upgrade that tool. And then you just keep going that way, and you get better and better tools, where some people, they'll just want to go high end, top end, right off the bat. Nothing wrong with that. If you can afford it, go ahead. The biggest recommendations about this kit, though, that I personally like are the slender picks, the flat tension wrenches, the serrated tension wrenches. The government steel is good. Pick profiles are pretty standard. Nothing special to me. But again, this is the from 2006 kit. I haven't been on their website to see if any of the profiles have changed, if any of things have been swapped out. So this is what got you in 2006. That is pretty much all I got about this kit. Just a lot of different tools. And again, this is like my go-to set. If I want to pick some locks, I have a lot of capability. Pretty much open most things that I'm able to open. I'm not the best lock picker, but this will get me pretty close. The Peterson G4B pick set, or G4 Bravo, as I like to call it.